Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host, Anu Khanna, and today I'm joined with Jamie Mitchell, who is co-owner and founder of Low6. Low6 is a leader in sports gaming technology, something very, very interesting that powers sport books, teams, leagues, and brands. But we can hear more about it from Jamie. Jamie, do you want to kick us off with a brief background as to what exactly do you do?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it. So Low6 is a free-to-play gamification company. We're based out of the West Midlands, so our head office is in Brimley Place in Birmingham. And as you alluded to, we make free-to-play games for some of the biggest franchises, sports federations, gambling operators in the world. So some of our clients would include the National Hockey League, NFL franchises, the PGA Tour. And it's been really about how do we help those brands attract, retain, and monetize their audiences. And first party data being the sort of key linchpin, if you like, in that monetization strategy. And that's where gaming comes in, which is obviously incredibly popular for all ages to take part in.
Fantastic. Thank you for that introduction. And it's been a journey for you. You've been in the business for almost 5 years now.
Yeah,
So,
exactly right. Yeah, so my journey was slightly more unconventional. I left a corporate role with British Telecom. I sort of saw an opportunity to start a marketing agency for sports clubs. That marketing agency we bootstrapped. It was myself and my then girlfriend, now fiance, and we bootstrapped the business. And became, a good small size business that was facilitating the needs of sports clubs. We saw an opportunity to look at gaming as part of the work we were doing with sports clubs, and due to signing a couple of contracts with some interesting partners, we were able to sort of scale what became the gaming side of our marketing agency into its own business, which we called Low6. And Low6 became the bigger business out of the two. And that's sort of where we focused for the last sort of 5 years or so.
wow, how interesting is that? British Telecom, marketing agency, and now into gaming. Wow.
Yeah, and it was, I think I would always say this, the corporate career which I had with BT was probably the best work experience I'd had. Sort of fresh out of university, did 12 or 13 years across different parts of that business, and just a brilliant business to work for. The culture there was very good. Met lots of business owners and different interesting people across that career. And I think it really set me up at sort of 35, 36 years of age to go out on my own, fresh faced and full of enthusiasm for being a business owner. And I suppose the bootstrap nature of running an agency was feast or famine very much. We would win some contracts and we'd look at the bank account and go, oh, this is amazing. And then you would go through the hard times and you wouldn't sell anything for a quarter and you think, how are we going to survive? And it was, that journey for certainly 5 or 6 years with my marketing agency, which was incredibly rewarding, incredibly tough at the same time, as I say, going through those famine periods. But ultimately, out of that business popped up the sort of the idea, if you like, that capturing first party data through gaming, particularly for sports clubs, was super, super interesting to them and to us. And as I say, the business Low6 formed and became the much bigger business of the two pretty quickly.
Fantastic. You had a long tenure at British Telecom. So, what would you say? What were the learnings that you took with you from the corporate that you've implemented in Low6 and helping you to be a success now?
I think what I tried to implement was it was all about the people. I felt, at BT, they were particularly good at their training of their people. They really, to me, I worked in a few different departments, always felt like they cared about me and my not only my remuneration but my well-being and the training that I would go on, and they would constantly invest in people, and I always felt I would like to bring that into our business. So the first thing we did was we looked at how do we help people's physical health. So we offered gym memberships, for example, which I know can be a bit sort of faddy, if you like, and perhaps it doesn't make great sense for everybody. But we felt it was important to focus on employees, particularly their well-being. So we implemented that immediately. And then when we looked at the sort of who was using the memberships, for people that weren't getting the most out of that, we actually offered them different options. So would you like, for example, to have the benefit in kind as a cash into your salary rather than having the gym membership? Or was there something like a subscription to Netflix we could buy? Whatever it might be, we tried to invest in the people. We then started a program which still runs to the day, as well as the gym membership, of things like employee recognition across the business. So we implemented something called Perk Box, where you can actually recognise your colleagues for doing a good job. And then we introduced quarterly and yearly rewards in the form of incentives, etc. And that was very much taken from the BT sort of school of thought, if you like. And I always felt that they invested in their people. The one area that we would love to do more in, but we get caught up in so much in the day-to-day, is training. We don't have enough dedicated time to take our employees through a journey of training, and we do try, but it's, and I'm sure if there's small business owners listening to this, finding that dedicated time for employees to put them through is something that I think we all collectively have to do better at. Small businesses, big corporates are excellent at it because they can lose a person for a day or a week, etc., and it doesn't necessarily feel the immediate impact. In a sort of small business, I think you feel the impact of Bob or Sue or whoever not being in their seat for 2 or 3 days. You feel it acutely. But I think there is a big piece of work there around, investing in people that we do okay at, but I'd love to get better.
Yes, exactly. What's the approximate size of your team, your workforce today?
We have about 35 full-time members of staff at Low6.
Right, fantastic. So great perks that you have shared, with gym membership, employee recognition, training schemes. How has that helped you in your growth journey? I'm just thinking there are a lot of, business owners who will be listening to this. So what would your advice be to them in relation to your investment in the employees?
I think firstly, the market to hire good people is very competitive. So things like we offer private healthcare, along with the other benefits we've spoken about, allows us to I say this crassly, but fish in the pond of the people that we'd like to be fishing in to try and attract them to our business. I think first and foremost that's been helpful for us. Certainly retention has been good because of the things we've spoken about. And I do, I am proud of the fact that we offer people a quicker way to be seen by medical people, for example, dentists, etc. So it's all good things. But I think just the general well-being of your team, it does shine through when you're able to. And I do appreciate, as I say, I've been through the bootstrap phase where offering this isn't possible. And what I really did focused on when there wasn't the opportunity to offer sort of healthcare and gym membership was very much putting time into people and trying to mentor my small team. So my agency was sort of 6 to 7 people strong. What that gave me was the ability to spend a lot of time with people, coaching and mentoring on a day-to-day basis. And I think what we lacked in financial clout, if you like, we really sort of over-indexed with people skills and coaching, which again, it was all about retention. And those people that were in our agency have all moved into Low6 and still with us today. So our longest sort of serving member of staff would be 7 or 8 years with us now at this point.
Wow, amazing. Lots of good benefits with private healthcare and membership, really good. And then you talk about retention. So what is the reason, in your opinion, retention is so important for employees?
Yeah, we've very much the last 2 years have been our strongest for retention. I think we suffered in the early days, perhaps with people coming and going, because I don't think we knew the type of employee we were looking for necessarily. For example, we major really heavily on sport in our business. We are across every major sport, from the NFL to the NHL to Premier League soccer. I don't think we necessarily looked for sports fans in the first year or so. It was just, if you're a good coder, you're a good coder sort of thing. Well, actually, we now look for avid sports fans and have done for the last 3 years, because you kind of have to have a bit of enjoyment and passion about the thing that you do. And I think that old saying, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, shines through. And I think once you've sort of understood, if you like, the Venn diagram of who you're looking to attract to your business that adds value, not just to you, but also to them, I think that becomes a powerful, powerful thing, because you realize that people are enjoying their work and are passionate about it. And, I suppose the parts where you need some help from your employees, perhaps a tight deadline and, all the things that we go through every day, that's when that passion will shine through if people are really enjoying the work. So for us, retention is very, very important. And, the key is happy people, I suppose.
Yes, totally. Happy employees make happy customers. And it sounds like you have positioned yourself as the employer of choice. And Jamie, I'm a big believer of how you do anything is how you do everything. When you're focusing on your employee retention and taking care of your employees, I pretty much think that you also take care of your customers and you have good customer retention as well.
I couldn't agree more. And, again, that's the part I would say we do particularly well, is we really do care. And that, goes all the way from the first time we'll meet the customer. I think we offer something slightly more personal, and all the way through to delivering products and then monitoring the outputs via the data, etc. We are very much a partner, rather than just a provider. And I think if you can adopt that approach, you become very sticky inside your partner's organization. And that's what we're all after, is making sure that we add value and are good people, first and foremost, to work with.
So not just only the employer of choice, also the go-to company when it comes to any sort of gaming, because you are really attracting your customers and retaining your customers.
Yeah, and I think, how would we sort of offer any sort of insight into that is we work, we're a UK-based team. Predominantly, we have North American employees, and we also have Eastern European employees. But for us to be a sort of British born and bred company, being the free-to-play provider of the National Hockey League for the last 3 years, for example, or the PGA Tour, it proves that you kind of have to be doing something right to sort of retain those relationships. And I think, that is testament really to what our team does, and the extension of the team, if you like, for our partners that we become seen as. So yeah, I think it's all about people and the relationships you build, for sure.
You have just illustrated how you have become the leader in gaming sports technology. Any other advice to business owners who are listening, taking care of the employees, taking care of the customers, and positioning yourself very strong there? Any other parting words of advice, what other business owners can learn from you?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for me has been resilience. If you're the founder and owner of this business, the acceptance that you are going to have really, really good days and really, really, really terrible days, and how you can make that more of a linear sort of journey for yourself, I think is super important. Because there'll be lots of people listening to a lonely journey, and you take a lot with you, as a founder, managing director, CEO, whatever it might be. It's your neck on the line, and it's your vision, and it's your goal that's being implemented. I would say the resilience factor is key. This isn't for everybody, taking this journey. But if you're in there and you're still in there and you're pitching and you're coming up with a new idea, or you're still out there sort of trying to sell your wares, as it were, that's half the battle. Half the people out there haven't got that. So you're one step ahead. But just keeping that resilient and sort of never say die attitude, that can get you a really long way. And you just never know when a business idea will pop that might actually just take off if you're trying to scale your business, or if you're on a sort of more static growth journey. You only need something good to happen, and everything can change in an instant, and things become really enjoyable again. So I would just say stick in there. That would be my biggest piece of my biggest takeaway. Just keep in there fighting, because not everybody can do that, and you're half the battle's won.
That is amazing. I really like that. The linear journey, never giving up, the resilience, just continuing and going on. That's really great advice, and I can see why you have become and how you have become the leader.
I appreciate that, and lots more for us to do. We're never satisfied, and I think that restlessness is good for every business and business owner. And yeah, just where you can enjoy the moments where you get those wins, and what you don't get too down when you have a bad day. That would be my takeaway.
No, thank you very much, Jamie, for sharing your pearls of wisdom to the business owners who are listening to you. And we've
Pleasure.
all taken our things that we can learn from you and implement. So
Thank
thank
you
you
very
for joining
much.
us today.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.